All right, we're back here in the locker room. What is it, 10:18 here in the morning on a Saturday? Sun's out, guns out. Let's go, baby. The Eagles, Cowboys, Sunday, 4:25. We're getting all pumped up. Got a great show lined up today. I'm here in the studio with a couple of my advertisers who make this show happen. If it wasn't for Tom Jackson and Sons Electrical and Mark Grimes from Berkshire Hathaway, you guys, I mean, you power this show, you guys.
Yo, you know what Tommy's nickname is?
What's that?
Action Jackson.
Action Jackson.
How'd you do that?
So I went into Tom's office one day, and Tom wasn't there, and your girls were in, the secretaries and whatnot, and I said, "It's Billy Schweim," and they started laughing. What are you laughing about? They said Tom walks around the office singing his jingle the whole time. Again and again. No, that's Lanigan. Tom Jackson and Sons for Electrical, they're number one. I created that.
Where's my jingle? Man, I'm feeling slighted. Does that cost more?
No, wait. You got a live read, okay? That's what you call a testimonial.
Gotcha.
All right, guys. I want to talk about, like, when you talk about big games, got to talk turnovers, because that's where it comes down to. Especially when you're playing a team that has more talent than you. The only way you're going to win the game is by protecting your ball and making them cough up theirs. And the Eagles are a -6 this year. Not good stat,
No.
Tommy.
No.
Not a good stat. I mean, if you're gonna win, you need to make turnovers. The Eagles haven't had a propensity to do that. But what I'm really concerned about is Carson Wentz. Grimesy, he's turned the ball over 14 times, and 7 of them they've lost.
Billy, there was one play last week where he literally held onto the ball for 7 seconds, maybe 10 in the pocket, he had no idea that pressure was coming. I'm like, who do you think? Like,
Where's
how
the
much time do you
quarterback's
think
coach?
you have back there?
Where's this guy, Press Taylor?
Yeah.
You think that's what they'd be working on? Look, I played football in college. You watch a lot of film. You go over it back and forth a million times. I remember sitting in the film room, and this is before modern technology, because this is back in the 80s. With a clicker, back and forth, back and forth. So, and splice the film, cut the film. It was an archaic system, but I remember going over it 100 times. Back and forth, back and forth. You got to assume that the Eagles are doing this with Carson Wentz. Am I wrong?
They should be doing it on the sidelines
would
with
think.
their...
Well, with those, they got iPads. Come on, man. Keep your ball up by your chin. Don't have it, and have 2 hands on it. Something that's been taught from the beginning of time in football. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why is he doing this.
He's holding it like a loaf of bread.
Now look, I'm not bashing. I'm a Carson Wentz guy, and anybody that suggests otherwise, Tom, is are they nuts or what?
They're crazy.
I mean, this Nick Foles thing. Come on, man. He caught lightning. He caught lightning in a bottle. It was a fun story. We all loved it, but it's over and done with. This guy is our future. Excuse me. We got to protect our future. We got to, he's got to realize he's got to have more pocket awareness. As a former quarterback, you got to feel the heat, man.
Yep.
You got to get out of that pocket.
Hey, I put him in the Ben Simmons category. You think I'm being serious?
Here we go, Josh.
Now listen, I'm just making an analogy, but listen,
By the way, we're not going to let you down. We will talk the last 20 minutes of the show today. We will talk Sixers, because I know you got a lot to get off your chest.
Ben Simmons, you're an NBA, shoot the ball.
Right.
Carson Wentz, you're a quarterback.
Throw the ball.
Throw the ball. Please,
What
get
do
it out of your hands.
What do you usually get? Anywhere between 2.8 seconds and 3.4, which is a long time. That's even a lot
I
longer.
think his average is 5.6.
No.
Well, it was last week.
No, I think he's getting out around 2.8, 2.9, something like that. But even
look that up, please.
But even no, it's 2.8. I know for a fact it's 2.8, 2.9 because I talked to it. Right? It's 3.0.
2.8.
2.8, yeah. Which, that's a fair amount of time. But what happens is when the pocket breaks down, he breaks down, and when one breaks down, we all break down. That's a movie quote. It's true though, right, Tom? I mean, you got all the guys working with you. If one guy doesn't do his job, everybody else is like, "What are you doing?" Right?
Exactly. I think maybe,
See how they incorporate the business world.
That's very impressive.
maybe they held on to Peters 1 year too long.
Sure. How about Sproles?
Yes, they did.
They have this propensity to give certain players a little longer chance
Well, you know what, Tom? Fan favorite. I mean, let's face it.
As Philly fans, we just fall in love with our athletes, and we just don't want to give them up.
Look, the
I mean,
Phillies
gets
did
to a
it.
point.
The Flyers did it. I mean, they all
Every
do it.
organization.
There are look, the Patriots don't do it.
That's what you gotta love about them, and that's why they've been to 10 Super Bowls.
I don't like any. I don't like anything about the Patriots, but I do love Tom Brady. I think he's the GOAT, and I got to take my hat off him. But I don't want. I digress. I don't want to get into Tom
Patriots,
Brady.
you got it.
Dallas
Okay.
weekend.
It's Dallas weekend, baby. Let's keep focused.
Exactly.
All right, so John Gruden, what was it? He had his quarterback coach
QB camp.
and he even back in 2000, what was it? 2016, 2017, he even saw that there was a problem. Josh, set this up for us because this is amazing.
So I grabbed this earlier this week because on the Mays and Aton show, they brought up when Gruden had Wentz on the QB camp. And Gruden always finds something wrong with everybody. So what happens is that, he isolates something. Every quarterback has something wrong. He isolates them. So this is from ESPN's Gruden QB camp. It's one of the last years he did the QB camp because they became the Raiders head coach. And he literally lays in the Carson Wentz about the one-handed. Take a listen.
What? Watch him. Two hands, baby. Good.
Sean,
It's not good.
swing this mic
Great.
over to me.
What do you think about this?
We gotta get it over top. Over top of this.
Big time. Watch this.
Perfect. Thank you.
He's a freaking what?
Two-handed monster.
Does that work?
He's a two-handed
I didn't know that.
monster. Look at him. He's not swinging the ball. He's not careless with the ball. He's a what?
He's a two-handed monster.
That's unbelievable. And it's obvious that he takes great pride in this. What's that number 56 Cliff Averill looking for right here?
He wants that ball.
The two-handed monster says not today. Now what is this? What is this guy? What are you looking at? Oh. There's... What the...
Wentz is on the screen blushing because Gruden's
Right,
ripping
because he's
for the
exposing
one
it for what he's doing. Now, all right.
Wentz is still blushing. He's embarrassed.
play, but sometimes look at these fans. We got a one-handed quarterback playing today. Look at it.
All right, so that is a perfect illustration of what he needs to work on. Gruden saw it a couple years ago. You're telling me Press Taylor and Mike Rowe aren't just beating this into his head?
He's been in the league long enough.
So what is he saying? He doesn't have to have coaches? What are you saying? He doesn't have to have coaches telling him about that?
Just some things when you get spooked, you go back to what your instinct
No, that's
is.
true too. I look, but
Listen, ever since his knee injury, he's a
you're
changed
talking
player.
about professional football player that was on his way to become an MVP, and obviously he's regressed. And I got to believe it's the coaches. Now we're going to have the coach on here in a few minutes, so we'll ask him because there's no other better person to ask him than Coach Dick Vermeil, who we're going to be talking to in a few minutes. So I can't wait to ask him. But this is some of the things that we have to improve on. Like it's got to get better right now, like today, if we're going to beat the Cowboys on Sunday.
Hey, have we found is Dak playing?
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
fine. All
he's
right,
fine.
first hour. We're back here in the locker room, 10:32 on a Saturday. Well, it's the 21st of December. Santa's right around the corner. Christmas is right around the corner, Grimesy.
Yeah, this is a great time of year, isn't it?
We're having a lot of fun. Today's my advertisers roundtable. I have a couple of my advertisers sitting in with me here. Tom Jackson from Jackson Electrical Sons, Mark Grimes from Berkshire Hathaway, and now I'm very excited about my first guest. I'm honored to have him on. He's just been considered one of the coaching finalists selected to be enshrined in the Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. He's the beloved coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl 34. Let's welcome into the locker room, Coach Dick Vermeil. How you doing, Coach?
Good morning. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Merry Christmas to you, first and foremost. Coach, I have I just want to say I'm excited for you, and I want to congratulate you on this outstanding thing. This is just such a great honor for you.
Thank you.
Now, Coach, I have a couple of my advertisers in here. We're giving back to the community today. Tom Jackson from Tom Jackson Electrical and Sons, and Mark Grimes. So if you're ever in Ocean City and you need a house, you can call Mark Grimes from Berkshire Hathaway. And if you need some electrical work, you call Tom Jackson. Coach, first off, Coach, I wanted to ask you, since you're the best person I can ask this question to. I want you to tell me, why should I be optimistic for the Eagles' chances this Sunday against the Cowboys at 4:25 at the Link?
Well, I'm not as optimistic as the normal fan, and I'm sure pulling for them because they've done a heck of a job overcoming a lot of the injuries, but it may catch up with them tomorrow. If Dallas plays like they did last week, which I haven't seen them play that with that intensity and concentration this year, if they play like that, they'll be unbeatable. That doesn't mean they're going to tomorrow, and it doesn't mean the Eagles can't beat them, but as they go into the ball game, watching the two teams play last week, Dallas should win it.
All right, so then why? So why should I be pessimistic? What about the Eagles suggest to you that that the Cowboys are going to win?
Well, I think, the Eagles right now are playing without their starting right tackle, without their starting wide receivers, without their starting right defensive tackle, and all that adds up when you play a quality team. Now, Dallas hasn't played up to their point many times this year. Like I said, they did last week. But if the Eagles play better than they have been playing, the last 2 weeks they played a losing team. Not a very good NFL football team. They lost to one of them. They had a win in the last series and down the next two. That doesn't paint a very positive picture against a football team that really is a playoff caliber team that hasn't played up to their ability.
We're talking with Hall of Fame finalist Coach Dick Vermeil, beloved coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, he coached the Super Bowl champion St. Louis Rams. Coach, one thing we've been talking about on the show today is when you get into a game like this, and I don't have to tell you, turnovers dictates who the final outcome. Everybody's concerned, right? Everybody's concerned about Carson Wentz bringing the ball down. I mean, aren't the coaches working with him with that? I mean, he's turned the ball over 14, or he's fumbled 14 times and lost 7 of those.
That's more an indication of the offensive line not doing a good job and Carson Wentz not doing a good job. All quarterbacks, time to time, will get the ball knocked out of their hands and trying to set up the throw. If the offensive lineman allowed too many defensive people around him, he's been throwing under pressure all year. He's one of the most pressured quarterbacks statistically in the league, and that's how the fumbles occur. If the Eagles' offensive line would get shorter, I think, and keep the pressure away from him better than they've been doing. He won't fumble. Granted, he can.
I hope we didn't lose him. You there, Coach?
Let me check.
Good.
So we're talking about it like a
Coach
quick
Vermeil, can you hear me?
talk about a quick release. I mean, get the ball out.
Yep.
You got to get the ball out. We just lost. I think we temporarily lost
Coach,
Coach.
can you hear me?
Let's see if we can try to bring him
We
up.
lost you there for a minute.
Is he out in California?
No, I think he's in the area. But that's
Can you hear me now?
exactly what
Yeah.
what people have been preaching to Carson Wentz. You got to get the ball out. You can't be holding on to the ball that long.
He looks deer in the headlights a lot of times.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't be happening.
For someone of his quality, football player Carson Wentz. I mean, you heard John Gruden.
I mean, that pass to Sanders last week was.
It was a dart.
That was unbelievable.
It was like out of a howitzer.
But then he missed the screen pass by 5 yards.
It's funny, that pass to Sanders, I said, was his best pass of his career. That was unbelievable. It was a laser.
Now has Carson Wentz? Obviously, he's playing much better. He hasn't put a whole game together, but he's put halves together, and he's looked overall. I mean, he's had a good performance against the Redskins. Second half of the Giants. Has he turned the corner?
I think so.
You think
I'm
you're going to see a different Carson Wentz come out against the Cowboys at 4:25? I think these fans are going to be lathered up, man.
Oh, this is going to be.
I wish it was going to be a little colder, though.
Yeah, you know what? Exact same sentiment to me, Tom. I think it was. I wish it was a little colder, a little bit more. A little bit more hardcore
Nip in
football,
the
a little
air.
nip in the air. You know what I mean? Because the fan. You going, Grimesy?
I'm not. I actually have the Grimes Christmas party, and we will be drinking some great Vermeil wine with our dinner in honor of Dick.
There you go. Yeah, Dick
So
Vermeil,
hopefully,
man.
I want to ask Mr. Vermeil, is that going to bring us any more luck?
Hopefully we can get him back. Josh is trying. We lost him. But Dick Vermeil was on the line with us, and it's a shame that.
Hey, Coach, really, it's Josh.
So maybe we can get him
Call you
back.
back.
You can
He's
ask him
on
a
my
question. I'll get him back on here in a second. But Dick Vermeil, just some great memories. We do this thing with Ken Dunnick every Sunday. We have a segment called the Eagles Mystery Guest in conjunction with Ken Dunnick and the Jersey Man, Philly Man magazine.
Got him.
And Ken Dunnick, every single Eagle that I've had on my show that played for Coach Vermeil, you should. I mean, they just rave about him. And Coach is back with, "Hey, how you doing, Coach? We lost you there for a second." I was just telling my guys here that I do a segment every Sunday called the Eagles Mystery Guest in collaboration with Ken Dunnick and the Jersey Man magazine, and he provides me with mystery guest players, and the listeners get a chance to figure out who it is, and they can win a prize from Schuylkill Valley Sports. And most of the guys have been guys from your era that have played for you, and I can't tell you, Coach, that's the true mark of a great man is what they say about you. Each player, just some of the things that they say about you, really, it's just very impressive. All right, Coach, before we lost, we were talking about some of the things that the Eagles need to do. We were talking about Carson Wentz' inability to hold on the ball. He's been turning the ball over. I'm just wondering, do you think the coaches are working with him with that? I mean, aren't they in his ear?
Hey, Dick, this is Mark Grimes. Hey, listen, my family Christmas party's tomorrow, so I'm going to be drinking some nice red cab Vermeil wine. Will that bring us some? Will that bring us? Hey, listen, I've had it before. It's a very, very good cab. Will that bring us any luck, though? That's my question. Oh, I love it. There we go. There you go. Done deal. I'll bring out the Magnum bottle.
Hey, Coach. Hey, Coach, this is Tom Jackson. I have a question for you. I've been harping all season about this CBA agreement with they're only allowed to have pads on and hit 14 times during the season. I know that wasn't the way it was when you were coaching. Do you think that the easier training camps and the lack of hitting is causing these injuries?
Coach, so it raises another great point. I'm curious, from 1980 till today, what is the difference in weight training programs when your players weight train versus today? Because we've been fortunate enough to have some guys down here in Ocean City. I watch these guys in action, and I've always said their mass of muscle today compared to 1980 to me is way less. Meaning these guys are torpedoes today. Their body fat is like almost to zero. No, that's true.
Wow. Stan Waters.
Yep. Correct. Correct. Yeah, I wasn't talking linemen. We can tell by looking at the TV that they're not. I'm talking about linebackers and running backs and wide receivers. Those guys.
Wow.
Coach, one last question for you. When it comes to when you're coaching a team that's has to overcome adversity with a lot of injuries, what's the message to the team, to the guys that are stepping up? I mean, and if you could you rate what type of job you think Doug Peterson is doing with the people that he has in place right now?
Well, I think the injured player ought to thank the starting player for getting hurt and giving him an opportunity. Guys become starters because the starter in front of him that was supposedly a better player got hurt, and all of a sudden the guy got he ended up Kurt Warner.
Right. Yeah. Perfect example.
Thank you, Trent. Of course, I think the season. Doug Peterson has done a great job. You know, he never uses that as an excuse. It's just a matter of fact. This guy's playing. This guy is injured, and we're filling it this way, and we're going to line up and play. I think he's done a marvelous job of that. He's done a marvelous job in these tight football games of coaching and calling plays under extreme pressure. As we all know, the last two ball games have come down to the final plays, and Doug has done a great job. Now, what I tease him and say, let's start those final drives in the first quarter.
Yeah. All right, well, Coach Reveal, I really appreciate you taking your time. I know it's the holiday season, the hustle and bustle. You're out and about. I want to congratulate you on being in consideration for the Hall of Fame. I think you're a shoo-in. You're my favorite coach, and of course, my childhood growing up, I remember those Eagles teams, and I want to thank you for all the memories.
Yep.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Coach.
Christmas
Merry
to you.
Christmas.
There's Coach Vermeil. I'm telling you what, he just exudes head coach. You know what I mean? He's the head coach.
Guy's a class
He's the coach. You know, I used to love him when he was on ABC. He did college
Games.
He did college games, and his analysis, his breakdown it's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's excellent.
Because he's the head coach, and if he doesn't get into the Hall of Fame on this ballot, it's rigged.
No, he has to get him.
We're back here in the locker room getting you ready for Christmas. Grimesy, you get all pumped up, man. You're in a spirit, aren't you?
Come on, man, let's go.
I love it, man. There's
Santa.
nothing better than having little kids around for Christmas. My daughter, Tom, you should see her. She's just in her heyday, running around the house. We're baking cookies, and we got the Christmas tree all lit up, and she's got the elf on the shelf, and every morning she gets up, she runs downstairs, man. It's just a
Nothing
joy.
better.
Nothing better.
I have five.
Well, who do you have here with us
I
today,
have my daughter
Grimes?
Hannah with her today.
Hannah's
So
in here. Hi, Hannah.
Hi.
So out of my
Is she
five-
big? Is Hannah a big Eagles fan?
All my kids are Eagles fans.
All right, she going to the game Sunday?
She is not.
Because that's right. You're having the Grimes party,
Yep.
and you're gonna have Vermeil wine, right?
Oh, I'm telling you. And 2 bottles. I'm taking that seriously.
You heard what he said. Right? It was cool talking to Coach Vermeil. I'm just in awe to be able to talk to some of the people that we get here in the locker room. He's been gracious to me in the show. He's been on a couple times before, and he answers all the questions, and he has fun, and that's what it's all about.
Man is legendary. He's
Legendary.
literally
Legendary. I want to talk before we go to top of the hour break. One thing we're talking about. We're talking about turnovers and the fact that the Eagles are a -6 in turnovers. I saw a stat that Jim Schwartz he's been on a lot of fire lately, and obviously, you know, when you have injuries that you have to overcome, that's difficult. But he's 1-4 against the Dallas Cowboys since he's been here, and yeah, I mean, he hasn't been able to stop Ezekiel Elliott.
You know what the answer is?
Now, all three of these teams have been that he's the last 3 years. I mean, he's dealt with injuries, but this seems to be the one team that's had the most injuries. So that they're going to bring out the dog mask this week.
Ooh.
Are they going to bring out the dog mask, Tom?
Let's bring it all out. Vermeil wine, dog mask.
Why not?
I mean,
They miss Chris Long in that locker room. I agree
Oh,
with that
no doubt about it.
He was a leader.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's too much dissension.
Yeah.
You know, it's Folsey was even part of it. You know, they went to church together, they worshiped together, and they just seemed to be a lot of individuals in there.
It all comes down to chemistry. Period. End of story. All teams.
And
Chemistry.
when your veterans are hurt,
Right.
you know, if somebody's out there giving it their all every day, and you're telling a rookie or a first or second year player to do that, it's
Right.
one thing.
Yeah.
But when you're in street clothes trying to tell this guy, you got to do this, you got to do that. I wouldn't listen to him as much as if he was leading by example.
Right, and leading by example. We've talked this several times. That's what Rick Tockett, when back in the day when we used to hang pal around, he would say, "Hey, Schweiner, we're not rah-rah. We go in there and work hard, and you lead by example, and that's how you get things done." 6 of the 7 Eagles losses have come against teams with passing offense that are ranked in the top 12. Of course, Dallas is number 1.
Right.
So that doesn't. I mean, you look at this. You look at all the statistics and everything lined up. It doesn't look good for the Eagles, man.
It doesn't, but I'm telling you, if we blitz Dak, that's the answer. Got to blitz him.
Hey, but John McMullen from 97.3 ESPN.com, and he was on the Tony Bruno show on Monday, explained every time the Eagles get burnt, every time they blitz. So but I'm a believer. You got to do something.
Yep.
You can't just stay pat and just play the wide 9 without taking a chance. You got to take chances.
Dak.
All right, first hour is in the books. Thank Coach Vermeil for spending some time with us on the holiday. He's out shopping. When I talked to him yesterday, he said, he's out and about. If we can catch him, we catch him, but we got him. And it's always nice to hear from Coach Vermeil.
Listen, that's like it's like getting Bill Walsh. I mean, come on, man. That was a good score for you, Billy.
Schweiner. Nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner. Tom Jackson's in the house. Mark Grimes. Billy Schweim in here. We got a great second hour coming up. Heck, we'll talk a little Sixers in the second half of the second hour because I know Grimes got to get something off his chest. The Locker Room with Billy Schweim. We're back here in the Locker Room with Billy Schweim on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Want to remind people, tomorrow, the Locker Room with Billy Schweim on Sunday will be on from 10 a.m. to 1 as we lead you up to Tony Bruno and a countdown to kickoff live from Toll Man Joe's. I got a great show lined up. Of course, we'll be joined by Bill Beverly here in the studio. Scott Grayson, who you can always catch on at 2:30 with on the Sports Bats with Mike Gill for Grayson's Grades, and read all his work at 973ESPN.com. And then we're going to have the guru, the fantasy football guru, Brian Hartley, with us. And then tomorrow we got a great Eagles mystery guest. Probably, this is tied for one of the best Eagles mystery guests. A very popular Eagles player will be our mystery guest tomorrow. Want to stay tuned for that. I'm joined in the studio today with Tom Jackson, a couple of my advertisers, Tom Jackson and Mark Grimes. And guys, we're having a lot of fun here talking Eagles football. I'm getting pumped up. You getting pumped up, Tommy?
Dallas, baby.
Yeah, man. So Grimes, he just told me that we had to pry him off the golf course today to get him in here.
Yes. Unbelievable. Hey, that's impressive. That's impressive. These guys have played golf in 32-degree rounds.
I could never do that, man. It's like hitting a baseball when it's like 32 degrees at like an aluminum bat. Remember your hands are just like ringing like this. Yeah. So what happens if you hit a divot, like a big divot, or you don't hit the ball right, Tom?
I always hit the ball right.
All right, guys, we're talking Eagles. We'll break, get into some statistics and talk about the outcome of tomorrow. But before we get ahead, and then of course at the bottom of the hour, we got to talk Sixers because last night was a disgrace. I mean, those guys just, to me, don't get me. Well, you're gonna get me started, aren't you, Grimesy? Because I know you got. I can just look at you're just dying to go off on the Sixers.
Listen, man, I've been saying this all along. This Brett Brown experiment is over. It's over. It's over. The man can't coach in the last 5 minutes. He can't coach. How many games do we got to watch this year? We're up 20, and then It's a 1-point game with a minute left. I mean, stop.
Settle down, guys. We'll save it for the second half of the show.
It's Dallas, baby.
It's Dallas, baby. And by the way, they lost to Dallas last night. The Sixers lost to the Mavericks. That's not a good omen, is it, Tom?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. All right, I want to talk to you guys about, and I alluded to it earlier. Howie Roseman, his Italian evaluation. I don't know. I mean, you look at the defensive secondary where they were drafted. I mean, they've got to do something about that. Maybe they haven't put any stock in drafting DBs. You know, maybe the first and second, third round. They got a 7-rounder, a 4th-rounder, a third, a 2nd-rounder. Can't even get healthy.
They didn't act on the guy that's with the Rams now. I can't think of his name. The D-back that they gave 2 first-rounders up. L.A.
The who?
The first round, the defensive back for the LA Rams. That's Josh he's our
You
encyclopedia.
mean the guy the Rams traded
Yeah,
for?
yeah.
Oh, Ramsey.
Oh, Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
well,
he was with Jacksonville.
Okay,
Right.
so you got to remember with some of these trades, sometimes these teams ask for too much. And then when you try to come back around, the trade might have already
No, but I
happened.
was talking about drafting them from the beginning, like getting these guys. Like, if you look at Mills and Vontae Maddox and Sidney Jones, these guys are low-round draft picks, with the exception of Jones, and they knew that Jones was hurt, and they had no expectations of him to get in. They drafted him to hide him. Yeah, like redshirt him basically. That didn't work out, so now we're paying the piper.
Yep.
This whole season, now, look, I know Malik Jackson. I think that was a big loss
huge loss.
on the defensive line. I get it. But come on, man. These guys are horrible.
You have to draft them better.
You
And
gotta
the
draft
dream
better.
Team experiment didn't work.
No, but
it didn't
Osawa
work.
and all
Right,
that.
didn't work.
Really quick, let me ask all of you guys, and there's no right answer to this, but don't you also feel like a lot of this season, you mentioned Malik Jackson, how much of this also is the fact that there have been so many injuries? You look around the team and you're like, is anybody really healthy out here? Like, are we really confident that anybody out in that field is really like 90% right now?
No, I think McMullen even said today this might be the best coaching job.
Yeah, well, and you heard Dick
Peterson
Vermeil just say that he thinks that Peterson has done a good job with what he has.
It's amazing with the people that they don't have, that they don't have at their disposal.
And let's turn to the offensive side of the ball real quick, because we've got Greg Ward, 5'11", 174 pounds. Miles Sanders, 5'11", 211 pounds. Everybody said these guys are undersized and everything. You know what? You heard Dick Vermeil say, thank the guys got hurt in front of me. That gave us an opportunity to show what we can do, and they have shown it. Yep. So Miles Sanders had 172 yards from scrimmage last week. Mm-hmm. He's your guy. He rushed 19 carries for 122 yards, but the biggest run that he had was on that 56-yard run was a 3rd and 11. Right. You know what I say, Grimesy? Run the ball. I've been saying this for the last 3-4 weeks.
I agree.
I even wrote it on my blog. You go to my website on my blog, the locker room, BillySchweim.com.
But hold on, you guys are cramming.
If you go back and look at my articles each and every week, I've specified and showed the stats that are for running the ball, but yet we keep getting away from it. Peterson keeps getting away from it. You're playing against the team that is the number 1 team in yards. Number 1 team in yards, the 2nd team in passing. What's the only way you're going to remedy to beat them? Keep them off the damn field.
Right. Okay, so hold on a second. Let's take a step back.
I'm pumped up, Grimes.
A minute ago, you guys just got done telling me Peterson's best coaching job.
I didn't say best. I said Coach Vermeil said Tom said he's doing a pretty good job.
Well, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I'm just
I
saying,
didn't say that.
like it's obvious. Run the ball, right?
Run the
And
ball.
He's pass happy. I mean, it's like Andy Reid Jr.
He is Andy Reid Jr. I mean, he comes out,
My wife yells at me because we're watching the game. That's all I'm saying is
Right.
run the ball.
Yeah.
I got a feeling if you could just be like a one of those snow things, those snow globes you turn upside down, all the snow comes out. If you could be in everybody's house, like be up here and watch during the game what people are saying, I bet you 95% of the people are going, run the ball.
Well, plus Sanders.
Because everybody I talk to, Tom, says the same thing.
Right.
Run the ball.
Sanders and Scott, the last couple of weeks are, as far as that I can see, they're being more patient.
Yep.
They're waiting for the blocks to develop, and then they're hitting the hole.
This guy's.
And we got good linemen.
Yeah,
run blockers.
This guy Scott is unbelievable. He's like Darren Sproles. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
He's small.
He is. He's cut out of the same mold.
It's like watching him.
By the
Look.
way, can I let you guys know? Do you know who the guy who found Boston Scott is
I do not.
on the Eagles staff?
I do not.
The guy who replaced Joe Douglas, Andy Weidel.
Wow.
Because he was originally drafted by the Saints, and the Saints had no room for him on the roster. I mean, they got a guy named Alvin Kamara, what do they need Boston Scott for, right? So the Eagles needed another back for camp.
Mm-hmm.
So Andy Weidel, according to reports, is the one who went to Howie and said, you need to sign this guy.
Well, I find that interesting that the Saints went after him. That means they've probably seen this. They've seen the same thing we are. It's a Sproles, mold.
Right, but it's funny that where else was Sproles from? He was from New Orleans.
Right.
You know, so it's interesting that this is now two straight style of backs that we have grabbed from the Saints, who the Saints didn't have a use for anymore because, obviously they found other people. But the Eagles have found a way to get their hands on.
Now, here's another little stat that I took some notes that I find. The first 2 games of the season, they played
Billy, are these copious notes?
copious notes. Listen to you. The first 2 games of the season, the Eagles gave up 27 points to the Redskins, and who was the second game? I forget. The second game is anyway. They gave
pull it up.
pull it up. The second
No.
2 home games.
The 2 home games. The
right.
Lions.
Right.
So the first 2 home games they gave up 27 points. The next 5 home games. And they played the Patriots, the Seahawks. They only have given up 14.2.
No, they played great.
They played some good
They
defense.
did.
So let me ask you, why are Mills and Darby, who Mike Gill just texted me, they were the Super Bowl quarterbacks. I get it, but it's not. It's what you have. What have you done for me lately?
Yep.
Why is there such a big dichotomy between playing on the road and playing here?
I think it all goes back, and don't like to beat a dead horse, but the contact. These guys don't tackle. These cornerbacks.
But what's that to do with playing at home,
Well,
Tom?
Nothing to do with playing at
Tom,
home.
you're not allowed to tackle.
No, but I'm saying what's the difference between playing on the road? These guys, their numbers are horrible on the road, and at home they're a lot better. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, you've been to the games. I
Yeah.
mean, they can't hear the offense when they're playing against the Eagles' defense.
Right, they can't-
It's
they
loud.
can't-
It gives them a.
It's funny you
it gives them
mentioned
an
that.
advantage.
So Gil had the former Cowboys quarterback Danny White on yesterday.
Oh, did he really?
And
I
Danny
missed
White
it.
said that what made Philadelphia
Yeah, Mike
unique,
Gill.
he said, is that the Philadelphia advantage he felt was louder than any other team's home field advantage in the NFL. And he felt that's why the defense plays well, not just because of the talent at times, but because he played against guys like Reggie White and Jerome Brown. But he said also because it was so loud that it unnerved guys. So there's something to be said for the fact that the Philadelphia fans have as much of an impact on the game as the players sometimes.
Yeah, I was sitting in the end zone seats when Irvin went down. I mean, that was horrible.
When the
people
fans
were
are
applauding
and everything.
but, I mean, that's
I'm not condoning it.
Philadelphia,
I'm just
you know?
laughing. It's just funny you brought it up.
Hey, what game were you most impressed with this year with the Eagles? The biggest win we had all year. Mine was the Packers. We beat the Packers
I think
in Green Bay.
I think the Bills, because where they were in the season, and the weather conditions, and their backs were pretty much against the wall, and they came out and played a really significantly. I thought they played a really good game.
And listen, and you made another good point. We did play great defense against the Patriots
Yeah.
and the Seahawks.
And the
Both
Seahawks.
them.
I would say the Packers is the sexiest win, but as Bill said, the Bills game
Bills
was the
game.
most well-rounded win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with him. I was just asking.
All right. Doesn't that get you in the mood, man?
Man, this is like.
Yeah, we should have the. Where's
I like the upbeat
Grimes, you
Christmas
need to
music.
bring
I
me
need a
a-
little Bruce Springsteen. Come on,
Nah,
man.
I'm old school, brother.
I
How
got
much
it. You are.
Where did you bring me a poinsettia in here today? Where's my poinsettia?
You don't look
Yeah,
like-
you got Hannah with you. She gonna bring up a poinsettia? Come on, man.
You don't look like a poinsettia person to me.
Exactly.
You look like a double stuffed French toast.
Yo,
person.
by the way, Josh, how come you haven't ripped me for my Argyle sweater today? I haven't heard one peep out of you.
Listen, Bill. At least the Argyle sweater is in a similar color scheme. To
Oh, it's not a
time of
sweater
year.
vest. That's what you don't like.
Yeah, the sweater vest.
Yeah,
is a bad look.
Tom, it just burns him up when I come in here with sweater vest,
sweater
Argyle
vest is just
sweater
a bad
vest,
look, man.
and I do. It's just I got they don't even fit me anymore.
No, but that's a good,
This is
solid.
well, and this is
sweater.
look.
It's got
This
a
is
little
green because for the
Yeah,
Eagles because
yeah.
I'm getting pumped
Oh,
up.
it's
Yes.
also green for Christmas.
And green for Christmas. Very good. See that?
It's a very holiday.
Very festive.
Very festive.
Like you would wear that to like a Christmas Eve or a New Year's Eve.
That's right. I
party.
think I will.
Yes.
I'm
Not
having a
the
great.
sweater vest. Don't
I'm
walk
having a
that
great
house with
time in here. I
sweater vest
got
anymore.
Tom Jackson from Jackson Electrical and Sons, and Mark Grimes from Berkshire Hathaway, you guys.
Yes, sir.
I just want to take time here to say thank you guys so much for believing in the show and sponsoring the show and making. You guys are the engine, man.
Hey.
We try to give, have great radio and great talk. And if it wasn't for the advertisers and sponsors, not just you guys, Rentazzos and Reds and Joe Lanigan and CleanRental.com.
I will say this. How long I've been advertising now? 3 years.
It's been a little while.
You guys have a huge following. I'm telling you,
I
it is
appreciate it.
very,
Really?
it's very
It's-
interesting to me
it's-
when I meet people and they say, "Hey, I heard you," or I heard your ad. But I'm just telling you, you guys have a very, very good following in this area.
So one thing that I like to do, I mean, you guys are such a big part of the show. Bring you in here and get your thoughts about sports, because that's what we're doing.
Right.
And I know that you're passionate. I know Tom is. Joe Lanigan, I wish he was here today because we want to get him in. But Joe Rendazzo, I want to get him in here. But it's part of the fabric of our community. That's why when people are like, I have a friend of mine, co-host on Sunday, Bill Beverly. He's a Cowboys fan. And for the life of me, Tom, I can't understand when you are part of a community. Everybody's pulling the same oar. It's fun when everybody gets out. But if you're for the other team, like Schoolhouse Rock, hey, I'm for the other team. You can't get in. You can't enjoy it, can you?
Hey, listen. Cowboy fans, they just have a DNA defect.
Look, if you live in this area and
You
you
don't have a dump button, do you?
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Cowboys fans.
No, well, so yesterday, tomorrow, I was supposed to be broadcasting live at Toll Man Joe's, and if something happened, it fell through. I had something prepared for my co-host Bill Beverly, who's a great guy. Worked on it for 25 years at U.S. Airways. We would have some of the most heated battles. Him being a Cowboy and me being an Eagles fan. But we always maintain a good relationship, a good friendship, and it's all in fun and game. There's some people that can't distinguish between kidding and they get take it over the top.
Correct.
Not Billy. So I have him in here. We can joke around. For tomorrow, I have a psychologist calling in planned, but I haven't heard back from him because I didn't pursue it because I thought I was going to be a Toll Man Joe's. I was going to get a little couch here, a little fold-out bed, and have him lay down. Have the psychologist, Dr. Partledge, usually I deal with. I'm waiting to hear back from him, and try to psychoanalyze him.
Wow.
What makes you a Cowboys fan if you live here?
You're going deep.
Right?
You're really trying to figure it out.
I never understood it.
Have you ever? You know what we hear? I like the Star.
Yeah.
My father was. I was. You know what it is? It's all BS, Tom. Because you know what it is? Because back in the day when we were all growing up,
Listen,
there was a stretch where the Cowboys won like
they're front runners.
9 the NFC championships. The Eagles didn't even win anything.
Front runners.
Front runners.
They were always the 4:00 game.
Right.
Yeah.
And remember back in the day when the Cowboys always used to get the calls? They got the calls. I remember my father. I remember when I was a youngster. And I'm talking 8, 9, 10, 11 years. I remember my father just going off about how the referees, it's always skewed to the Cowboys. They always got all the calls.
I will say this. 2 things I like about the Cowboys. Roger Staubach
Yes.
and Tom Landry. 2 class acts.
I see. I did not have time for Tom Landry.
Come on.
Absolutely
Come
not.
on,
No.
That guy's legendary.
Nah, he
You
was
told
smug and
me-
pompous.
If you told me this guy, you could have him on the show today.
Well,
you're not
that's
having him on the show.
different. Nah. And of course, I'd have him on the
It'd
show.
be pretty amazing if you could
Yeah,
have
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Hey, I had Joe Namath on this. Tom, I had Joe Namath on this show.
There you
One
go.
of the
Right?
amazing things about Landry is people forget about his background. Is that remember he and Vince Lombardi were on the same Giants coaching staff.
Right.
And when Landry went to Dallas and Lombardi was in Green Bay, Lombardi went to Landry for some of Landry's plays to add to his playbook because he said, Tom, I'm having some issues with some of my offensive and defensive play calling. Could you he literally helped Vince Lombardi become a legend.
Right.
That in and of itself makes you a legend.
Yep.
You're making somebody else that great.
No, but how about the hat? I mean, the hat and the jacket. I mean, the guy. He
Well,
might. You know,
Don't give me that. I don't like that.
He looked like
Nah.
Grandpop come to Thanksgiving dinner. I'm
Nah,
telling
he
you,
was
man.
pompous, smug, arrogant.
No.
That Dallas mystique.
I
Nah.
was more of a Hank Stram
Yeah.
jacket suit guy, personally.
Let's matriculate that ball down the field. All right, Tom, real quick before we go to our next break, give me one Eagles-Cowboys game that stands out in your mind, something that you remember
The 4th and 1.
The 4th and
I
1.
think it was 93. They ran the ball from 1 yard 4 times. Defense stopped them.
Wasn't there an offsides or there was a penalty and they had to get an opportunity to do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Grimesy?
Can I give 2?
Yes, you can.
Philly, because it was like right in front of us. But the one I always
Philly,
remember.
no, Philly, Cowboys, Eagles?
No, it's
No,
Super Bowl.
no. I'm talking
you
about Cowboys, Eagles game.
Oh, I'm sorry, apologize. So, Wilbert Montgomery.
Yeah, off right tackle.
Yeah.
Would that be?
That goes down? Yeah.
How about the Bounty Bowl? When was that?
Oh,
the,
yeah. But we
Luis
just
and
gotta say-
Diaz.
Diaz, but you know what else sticks in my mind too?
Arizona State.
How about when the Eagles sacked Troy Aikman like 10 times, like literally beat the pulp out of him?
Right.
That game sticks out in my mind. We crushed them.
The whole year was the Dallas game. I mean, when I was going to the games, it was it.
That was it.
But when
That
we
was
beat them in
circle.
1980, that was huge.
I would have to say, for me, that's probably my. I mean, I remember as a kid, I was in high school, senior in high school. I remember being in tears, hugging everybody's banging pots and pans. I mean, it was like New Year's Eve,
Right.
in our town. It was unbelievable. Same for the Flyers in 74, 75, 73, 74, 74. When they won the Stanley Cup, I mean, you should see people out on our street banging pots and pans and running around like they just hit the lottery or something.
I went to both parades.
Yeah, I did
to
too.
both parades.
Tommy, ready for this? I was in 6th grade. I snuck out of school.
Oh.
Not surprising.
All right. All right, we're back here in the locker room, 11:34. But time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it, Grimesy?
This is unbelievable. This is a great day. And having Tommy Jackson with us.
Yeah, man,
Oh,
TJ.
Good stuff.
My pleasure, fellas. My
Action
pleasure.
Jackson.
My
Yeah,
pleasure.
law, my favorite.
Listen, so the Eagles are 7-7, yet they send 5 players to the Pro Bowl. Zach Ertz, Brandon Brooks, Fletcher Cox, Jason Kelsey, and Rick Lovato. Now, what? The long snapper.
It's the first time I think they had a long snapper in the.
What about Dorenbos?
I don't think
Nope.
Durham
He never made it?
I don't think
No?
so. Let me double check.
Jason Kelsey, I was under the impression during the middle of the season that he wasn't really having a great year. That grade-wise, he wasn't grading out high. As a matter of fact, I think he even alluded to the fact on a news broadcast that I saw that he wasn't having a great year. He even said it himself. Obviously, your reputation precedes him, and people thought he was good enough to get in. But is this team? I mean, you could make an argument for.
John Dorenbos was a 2-time Pro Bowler.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I knew he was.
All right, so Lane Johnson probably should be considered for the Pro Bowl as one of the best right tackles in all of football, and I think he got slighted.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Right? All right, guys. Before we get into the Sixers, because I do want to go there, I think it's important that we go there. I want to get Tom Jackson and Grimesy on the record, so that we can have something to talk about. We've talked about some statistics. We talked to Coach Vermeil. Tommy, it's time for your pick.
Eagles 27-24.
Tom
Last
Jackson.
minute Jake Elliott field goal.
27-24.
I love it.
Tom Jackson from Jackson Sons Electrical, 27-24. Mark Grimes. Now, I know, Mark Grimes, you had this team going 12-4, I believe it was. I looked at it. It was 12-4. All right? 12-4.
You like to rub it in.
Got it right here. I looked at
loves
it.
to rub
Look,
it
I got
on.
it right here.
I see that.
See, Tommy? I got it right here. Grimes,
Yes. 12.
4 losses. And by the way, you have him losing. Just to let you know, you have him losing this game. You had him winning
The first one.
the first one.
Right.
Yeah. But Grimesy got him losing today. So
But,
they're going to change.
but I don't.
All right.
I don't this time.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
I
obviously,
truly believe this.
Because the way the season shakes out, you
Well,
got to change
Well,
the right.
Well, I'm factoring in Dak now, so I'm gonna. My score is going down a little bit. Dak is hurt. You can tell
Okay.
me he's playing, but he's hurt.
He's hurt.
Yeah.
He's
So-
matter of fact, we listened to John McMullen today on the PT show, and he's down there. He's the our Eagles insider, and he said his injury is no joke. He has
So this is what the Eagles are going to do. They're going to stack it, right? They're not just going to key on
8 guys in a box.
8 guys in a box. It's going to be a low-scoring game.
Going to make Dak beat him in the air.
Correct. It's going to be a low-scoring game. 17-14 Eagles.
Wow, a low-scoring affair. 17-14 Eagles from the Grimesy. I'm going to hold out. I'm giving you my pick tomorrow
Oh, my
because I will talk to Scott Grayson. I will talk to my Eagles mystery guest and a few other, and of course Bill Beverly being here. So I'm going to reserve my pick for tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, but
Keeping this in
I'm
suspense.
going to be gracious and not wait for my show to give you my pick.
okay, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Josh.
Josh.
By the way, just let me just go back to the archives.
He loves the archives.
1, 2, 3, 4. You had him going 11 and 5, Josh.
Yes, I did.
And you have
Mark,
him.
As Mark Grimes says, the Josh Hennig caveat is barring injuries.
All right, and you have him winning in your long-term prediction. You have him winning this game.
I did.
All right, I can't wait. Drum roll, please.
I believe in the fourth quarter, Carson Wentz is going to lead a game-winning drive, but there will be time left on the clock. The Cowboys will get in the field goal range, and they will win 20-17 because somebody on the defense turns the wrong direction and a receiver gets open as usual. And Carson Wentz will have a good game, but he'll lose because some cornerback doesn't
Ronald
know where
Darby
he's going.
or Rasul Douglas. So what's the score again?
Cowboys 20-17.
20
You
to
really
17.
thought that out.
I did think
You got this game played out in your head.
Deep thoughts with
'Cause here's
Josh
the thing,
Henning.
I
Remember that Saturday Night
I
Live?
just don't see this game being a blowout either way.
Right.
And I don't know about you guys, but when I look at this Eagles team, I don't see a healthy team. When I see this Cowboys team, I only see one unhealthy guy.
I agree. That's why I have it a low-scoring game. I agree with you.
It's
I think-
Dallas, baby.
And I listen to John McMullen, although I don't agree with him a lot of times. I'm
agree with him. You guys were screaming
Yeah.
at each other Monday night.
I'm inclined to I'm inclined to listen to what he has to say or what he had to say on the Pete Thompson show. And one of two things are going to happen: either the Cowboys are going to go run roughshod and just to make this game a mockery, or the Eagles are going to win by the slightest of margins. But I'm going to hold reserve my pick for tomorrow.
So they already did that last week. They're going to do it 2 weeks in a row?
Nope.
Ain't happening.
All right, I'm just okay. I mean, you got to remember, if you look at talent on the field, what do the Eagles have? Supposedly have nothing. I like Greg Ward. I think he's got talent.
Yep.
Will they use it properly? Will Carson Wentz hit him in stride? Will they use Miles Sanders? Will they run the ball if they get the lead? All these things come into play. Things that Peterson has shown an ineptness to. He hasn't been able to do it all year.
Run the ball.
Run the ball.
Run that ball.
It's 11:40 now, so I want to start talking about the Sixers because last night, I'm telling you, as I was doing my preparation, taking some notes, copious notes, Josh said, by the way, I'm watching this Sixers game with one eye and I'm reading Eagles stuff with the other eye. And I had to stop and just, in the middle of the fourth quarter, just watch this team. They can't even play against the zone. You know why? Because the first thing I thought about Grimesy, coaching number one, but Grimesy, how long did Ben Simmons play college basketball? 1 year. Mm-hmm. How long did Embiid play college basketball? 1 year. Mm-hmm. How many times do you think they saw the zone defense in their careers? Well, they probably saw it more in the NBA than they ever saw it their whole life.
Depends if they played Syracuse or not.
They looked like they didn't know how to answer for it. They looked totally inept. They looked like they were lost. They looked like they had no spirit. Look, Jim Lynon said it best after the game. These guys looked lethargic.
That's what Miami did to him the other night.
Yeah.
Listen,
Look, here's a team that was like the best team in the league in home wins, and now they lost 2 in a row. And how about this, Tommy? How about what Charles Barkley said on TNT that he doesn't think this team is going to win a championship? Not this year. They don't have it in them. And when then you see a game that they put on the court last night, a team that they put on the court last night, it was embarrassing.
That was without Donitz, right?
Can I just...
Yeah,
I
he didn't have Doncic, didn't even play.
I hate to keep bringing this up. Have you guys watched Chris Paul with Oklahoma City? A bad team. Have you seen him? How good he is? I'm telling you right now, that's who we're missing a point guard. Don't tell me Ben Simmons is a point guard. Don't tell me, please. Stop. He's not a point guard.
But he's a transformational player.
Come on, man. It's unbelievable. Have you ever seen him?
It was hard to watch.
Have you ever seen him stop and pull up for?
Well, he's done a couple. Not like Chris Paul, but he's actually this year he's taken what three or four threes. Okay, he showed that he'll at least try it this year. And remember what Brett Brown said? He wants to see him take at least 1 or 2 shots a game. Still hasn't done it.
They got to trade him.
Coach, You're gonna get me in trouble with my programming director if you say that. Grimesy said it last time, and I had the whole world come down on me. But you know what, Tom? You're entitled to your own opinion. If you want to, if that's how you feel, then you're allowed to feel it, and don't let anybody tell you, make you feel bad about it, because that's what you feel.
Well, we're just
Same with you,
talking about-
Grimesy.
We're
Thank
talking
you.
about Belichick.
Free world.
When somebody doesn't work out, he gets rid of them. You know,
Right.
Either that, or they need to get a coach that can.
Hey, listen.
can-
can
I don't-
can
I don't-
Great talent.
I don't listen. I don't. I am not. I'm not suggesting trade him. I would rather get a better coach and try to work with him. But something's not working. You've got this guy that we're told is a transformational player, and he looked totally inept against the zone last night.
Well, they just let him. They don't guard him. Let him shoot because he's not going to shoot.
Yep.
I mean, they're just like
He's not going to shoot.
4-on-5.
Right. Listen.
Josh is dying to say something.
There is a coach that's available right now, who I've watched, Memphis Grizzlies, Sacramento Kings, Dave Yoger. Great X and O coach. I'm talking great. Available right now. Him and a point guard with this team. I'm not saying get rid. We need a point guard.
Right.
We're gonna win. But I'm tired of watching the Sixers 5 minutes ago up 20 and almost
It's
blow the game.
unbelievable. Yeah, but
It's
last
crazy.
night they weren't even up.
No, I'm not even talking about last
last night. Was
night.
one
I'm
of the
just
worst
talking about-
losses. I mean, they
I'm
looked
talking the
horrible.
culmination of all the games. Last night they didn't even show up.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah.
So two quick things. One, back to what you said earlier, Mark.
Yep.
So if now I'm not saying there's a right answer to this question.
Yep.
So this is purely just your opinion. That's why I'm asking the
Correct.
question. If Ben Simmons is not a point guard,
Yes.
what is he?
3,
Yeah.
but he can't shoot. He's not a 3 if he can't shoot.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Listen,
He's not a center.
He's a 2. He's a 2. I mean, just bring him. I'm not saying not bring the ball up. He's not Chris Paul.
No, but how many
He's
people
not
really
Russell
are?
Westbrook.
Right.
Look at Hardaway
not
last
James
night. You see all
Harden.
them shots he was hitting last
But
night?
now to follow up on that,
Okay.
the players and players you just mentioned, most of the best teams in the league have more than one ball handler. Do you feel like Ben Simmons would be better suited if he had another high-level guard next to him?
100%.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be Chris
Sweet.
Paul,
Right.
but it could be, and I'm just spitballing a name, even though he's already on a team, or someone like a Rondo, another guy who is a ball handler.
Correct.
Do you think that would maybe
100%.
put Ben in a better position?
Here's the thing. You see Ben bring the ball up. He does make some great plays. He does have this uncanny ability to hit a guy in stride. He looks great, but then he's not consistent. He comes down two possessions later and makes the worst turnover, the dumbest turnover in the whole. You know what I mean? And it just leaves you scratching your head. That's coaching, Josh. That's coaching, you guys.
He's not a point guard. Period.
I would
End of
just say
story.
this about Yeager, and that is, there's a reason why he's unemployed. Mark and I talked about this earlier. I wanted to bring it up again. He's gotten into a lot of fights with his front offices. When he was in Memphis and Sacramento, he couldn't get along with people. And I'm not saying that that's a total reason not to bring him in, but that could be a reason why someone doesn't have a job. If you can't get along with your boss, it's a problem.
All right.
And one last thing, the Grizzlies. That's what I'm just very similar team. The players that they had and that he coached. So I think he would do a good job with this team.
All right. Spirited debate here. It's always a lot of fun when you have different opinions. Sometimes we all agree. Sometimes we don't. That's the way.
Good one.
There you go, Grimes. You like
There you
that
go.
song? You
That
like
one-
that one?
that one's a little more
He
upbeat.
likes that. He likes that heavy metal Christmas rock.
I just like you're old school. I'm new school.
Listen, if the Eagles win Sunday, it will be the most wonderful time of the year because I can't
Yes.
think of an area that gets so pumped up for their team, especially around the holiday season. Would this be the ultimate Christmas present?
I got
then they'll probably lose to the Giants.
I got a legitimate question for you guys. I got a legitimate question. Do you think Dallas Cowboys fans' Christmas trees are blue?
Yeah, I do. Well, and let me tell you guys a story about the Cowboys fans real quick. I flew to Dallas when because Randall Cunningham was the quarterback. I forget what year because it was a blur. Flew down there. The Cowboys. I think Troy Aikman. I wonder if I think it might have been Troy Aikman's game that he got pummeled. I was down there for that. I've been down there a couple times. You remember when the Eagles were horrible in the 60s and 70s? They still sold out. Franklin Field at the beginning of the Vet. I remember as a kid getting to the 700 level. It was nuts. And those teams stunk.
Yep.
Went to Dallas. They were 1-15 that year. the place was empty.
That was Aikman's first year.
Empty. You don't see that in Philly.
No. Well, Tommy was just talking to me. The Northeast are the most passionate fans. I went to school out west. It was a cocktail party. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a joke. So.
Where'd you go to UNLV?
No, Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Yes.
Sorry, my bad.
That's a party school.
You said party school.
Well, I didn't go for an education. Got a degree.
You majored in fun.
Yes.
Better watch out. Your daughter's here.
She knows. I told her the stories. Anyhow, hey, this week, so you had another coach. You want to say Fizdale?
Yeah, so you brought up Yeager. I would go Fizdale because I think that there's something to be said for the fact that guys like Dwayne Wade and Mike Conley and all these guys, they listen to him.
Yes.
They respect him, and I think there's something to be said for you don't need to be the best X and O coach, but you need to be a good basketball coach who people want to listen to.
Well, I think that's the problem with.
I'm not saying players don't listen to Brett Brown.
Yes.
But there's a different level.
But I think
I
if you
respect.
if you shake it up, you can't get rid of the team. So you got to shake up. The coach always goes first. I think you do. There's a certain amount of comfort level with this team now with Brett Brown.
You think? Hold on. You
and
think
they-
they're too comfortable?
I think they're too
that is a-
comfortable.
that is a great
I mean,
answer.
it's evident last night in the way they played.
Yep.
This team, look, he lets them police themselves. In a way, he lets them. They're professional athletes. But they're still young kids.
Yep.
And they don't have any. They've only been in the. How old are they? 22, 23, 24 years old. You can't give them that much responsibility. They don't deserve it yet. Then I think he tries to treat them like men, but it's not working.
That's a great answer. I think that's
That's
half
why
the
I'm on the
problem.
radio, Grimes.
She's-
Actually, that's not why I'm on the radio. I'm on the radio because of you and Tom Jackson. That's why I'm on the radio.
No, we just help out.
I want to thank you guys, man. Once again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you make this flow. You make it go, and we have a lot of fun here. We try to laugh. We try to, hit some buttons and make people think.
I'm going on record right now.
And because we're emotional. We're Eagles fans. We're Philly fans first. We're not objective. We talk about how we feel in our heart,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you get a little crazy, but that's the way it is because we're passionate fans.
Hey, one of the reasons I advertise on this show is you and Josh are very, very good at what you do, and I'm being serious about that.
Thanks.
Like when I came in for
Appreciate
the
it.
first time,
Josh and I have been together for a long time.
I'm telling you, you guys you're awesome. And it's really fun to watch. And thank you for letting my daughter, who's a communications major,
Yeah,
come in and watch us go down today.
we had an intern here in the summer. Maybe
heard.
Hannah might want to do something. I'm a tough boss, but we'll.
I got to tell you, I haven't advertised in 30 years. It's the first advertising I've done, and it's been a success. And,
Thank you, Tom.
You're not getting rid of me.
Well, Tom, I appreciate that, but how I knew that you were, I just laughed. I sat in my car and I just started laughing when your two secretaries said, "Oh my God, all he does is walk around the office here singing that song."
That's not true. if he'll raise the ratings now, I'll start singing this song.
All right, listen, I want to thank Mark Grimes, Tom Jackson for coming in. I had a lot of fun today. Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas to you guys. Merry Christmas
Happy
to
New
everybody
Year
out
to
there.
you.
Everybody have a safe holiday.
Let's go Eagles. I mean, we broke it down. I think we had a lot of fun doing it. Let's get a win. It's very important.
It's Dallas, baby.
It's Dallas week, and let's bring the community together and all pull together for a big win.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Right.
Check out my YouTube channel, The Locker Room with Billy Schweim. You can see all the videotapes. Also, my email or my website, The Locker Room Bill Schweim. The Locker Room Bill Schweim. You can check it out there. Tomorrow I'll have the show from 10 to 1. Here will be live from 10 to 1 on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks for making the Locker Room part of your Saturday, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with a Schweiner. Thanks, Grimes. Thanks to Coach Dick Vermeil. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 to 1 on 97.3 ESPN for the Eagles pregame show.